ISAs, or individual savings accounts, are an amazing way for UK residents to save and invest their money in a tax efficient way. And that's why it seems crazy that only 1 in 3 people in the UK actually have an account to their name. But that's not entirely our fault. We're not exactly taught much about personal finance in school, or at least I wasn't. So in this video, I'll be explaining exactly what an ISA is, what you can use them for, the rules and limits that currently apply to them, and how you can easily compare different ISA accounts to help decide which platform you'd like to open one with. It's important to note though that I am not a financial advisor and nothing I say in this video is financial advice. I'm simply explaining these accounts for the purpose of this video. So what is an ISA? An ISA is a type of investing account available to UK investors that you can use to either invest or hold your money inside of without needing to pay any capital gains tax or income tax on returns that you may make. You can open one for yourself by researching all of the different banks and brokers that offer them to find the best fit, and you don't need to be an existing customer as most platforms will allow you to open an account for a monthly or yearly fee, and some of these accounts are even completely free. At the time of recording, there are only 2 requirements that you need to meet in order to be able to open an ISA. You must be over the age of 18 and you must be a UK resident, but that's literally it, unless you're wanting to open a lifetime ISA, which also requires you to be under the age of 40. There are also junior ISA accounts available which you can open for your child, and the only requirements to open one are that you need to be the parent or guardian of that child, and they must be below the age of 18. The fact that these accounts are so accessible means that almost anyone can open one and start to build up some good financial habits for their future. When it comes to the different types of ISAs that you can currently open, there are 3 main ones to be aware of. Firstly, you have cash ISAs, which will offer you a guaranteed rate of interest on any money you hold inside of them. These are essentially just savings accounts, so your money isn't being invested, you're just getting a flat rate of interest. Although interest rates are always subject to change, so be sure to do your research before choosing where to hold your cash. Then you have what are called stocks and shares ISAs, and this account will allow you to either invest your money for yourself into different companies, funds, commodities, and so on, or a lot of providers will offer a managed service where you can pay a fee to have someone invest your money for you. The benefit of a stocks and shares ISA and the ability to invest is the potential to seek greater returns than what a savings account would offer. Finally, you have the account I mentioned earlier, lifetime ISAs, and the purpose of this account is to either save for your first home or save for retirement, and you can either have a lifetime cash ISA or a lifetime stocks and shares ISA. ISAs come with certain benefits and limitations which I'll cover a little later on. Junior ISAs will work almost exactly the same as the adult ISAs, but you can only open a stocks and shares or cash ISA for your child. And even though there are many benefits to ISAs, there are also some rules and limitations that you will need to follow when using them. The UK tax year starts on the 6th of April and ends on the 5th of April the next year, and in that time you're allowed to put up to £20,000 into ISAs. ISA limits are subject to change though, and that goes for all of the rules and limits that I'll be discussing in this video, but at the time of recording, all of this information is accurate. At the end of the year, your limit does reset back to £20,000 regardless of how much you've deposited. So whether you'd put £200 or £20,000 into ISAs the previous year, you will still have £20,000 when it resets. It's a big use it or lose it tax benefit, so just be aware that any unused ISA allowance won't be carried over into the next tax year. Since the 2024 tax year, the limit has become a lot more flexible though, as before you could only deposit into one of each type of ISA, whereas now you can deposit into as many stocks and shares and cash ISAs as you'd like, as long as you stay below the £20,000 limit in all of them combined. So as a quick example, you could use 2 stocks and shares ISAs and 2 cash ISAs, put £5,000 into each of them and still be below the limit for the year. However, if you were to even put £5,001 into one of those 4 ISAs, you would be above the overall limit. It's worth noting though that you can still only deposit into one lifetime ISA each year, and the maximum amount you can put in is £4,000. But the government will give you a 25% top up on your contributions, so the maximum amount you can put into one each year is actually £5,000. I won't go into ISAs too much more in this video, but we do have another video specifically dedicated to lifetime ISAs that I'll leave a link to in the description if you want to learn more. Also, you can currently deposit up to £9,000 into junior ISAs each year, and your child will be able to manage their account at the age of 16, but they will only have access to the money at the age of 18. This £9,000 is in addition to your £20,000 personal allowance, and the £9,000 limit applies for each child as it's their own personal allowance, not yours. Anyway, there isn't a penalty as such if you do go over your allowance, but you won't benefit from any tax relief on the excess, and you may be asked by HMRC to withdraw the extra money back out again. So do make sure to keep track of your deposits across all of your ISAs so that you don't go over. And speaking of withdrawing, there are a few important things to know to make sure that you don't eat into your allowance without even realising it. So say you deposit £10,000 into an ISA and withdraw that same £10,000 within the same tax year, you would still only have £10,000 remaining of your allowance, unless the ISA you're using is flexible. A flexible ISA allows you to deposit and withdraw as many times as you'd like within the same tax year without facing a penalty to your overall ISA limit. But you would need to redeposit that money back into the same ISA you withdrew it from. Withdrawing and redepositing into a new ISA would use up your allowance even if both ISAs are flexible. If you're planning on using multiple cash and stocks and shares ISAs in the same year, you'll want to make sure that the accounts you're using are flexible if you're planning on moving money around. However, if you have already deposited money into a non-flexible ISA and want to move it to a flexible one, you can transfer your portfolio between different providers. Most platforms will offer transfers, but again, check to make sure as some could charge you a fee for this service. We have a full video explaining transfers and all of the things that you need to take into consideration before doing so. So if that is something that you're planning to do, make sure to watch that for all the information you'll need. I'll link it down below. When it comes to researching all of the different ISA accounts, there are many things that you'll want to take into account, like fees, features, and ease of use. We have a free tool on financial interest to compare everything nice and easily, so I'll link that down below as well. Fees will be one of the main factors for a lot of people, so be sure to compare lots of options and figure out what you would be comfortable paying and how you'd like to make those payments. You'll typically find that there are two ways that you'll be charged for using an ISA. It'll either be a flat yearly or monthly fee, or a percentage of your balance every year. So this really does come down to preference and how much you're planning on investing. It's also important to check what the account offers as well, as if you prefer investing into funds, you might want a broker that only offers funds. Or if you want stocks and shares mainly, then you'll need a platform that offers plenty of those. And another thing to take into account that people might not think of is the accessibility of the account. So ask yourself, can you access your ISA on desktop and mobile? And how easy are the apps to use? These things could play a massive role in your investing experience, so be sure to research everything before making your decision. If you want a cash ISA, you'll want to check the interest rate, any bonus rates on offer, how long the bonus rate lasts, how easy it is to transfer, and more. Then the reputation of a broker will also be a big consideration for a lot of people. So again, look into each broker and make sure you know what you are signing up for. ISAs are a hugely beneficial account that UK investors have access to. So if you're wanting to invest or save your money, ISAs can be a great, tax-efficient way to do so. It can all seem a bit overwhelming though, but we do have multiple videos talking you through each account type and helping you every step of the way. So you need to check out the rest of our channel for all the information on those.